Hello, my beautiful and radiant Leo souls. Welcome back to Cosmic Wisdom, your sacred space for tuning into the brilliant, heart-centered frequencies that guide your life's magnificent journey. I am your guide, and if you have found your way to this specific message at this exact moment in time, I need you to know deep within the fiery core of your being that this is no accident. This is a divine appointment. Pause with me for just a moment. Before we journey into the heart of this transmission, I invite you to find a place where you can feel your own power. Sit up straight, let your spine align like a noble pillar of light. Place a hand over your heart. Take a deep, intentional breath in, filling your lungs with courage, with light, with the very essence of the sun. And as you exhale, release a single golden sigh, letting go of any shadow, any doubt, any whisper that has ever told you that you were anything less than glorious. Feel that is the universe conspiring with your spirit, orchestrating a sacred meeting between your soul and the truth that is about to unfold. Because, my dear Leo, the curtain is falling on an old act of your life. But just before it does, a ghost from your past is stepping onto the stage for one final bow. And what happens next will change everything. You may have already sensed it, haven't you? A subtle shift in the atmosphere around you. A name from a forgotten chapter appearing in your thoughts, a familiar scent on the wind, a song that carries the echo of a memory you thought was long laid to rest. Something or someone you believed was confined to the history books of your heart is moving toward you once again. But listen to me closely, magnificent soul. They are not returning to reclaim a space in your kingdom. They are returning to hold up a mirror to show you the dazzling sovereign being you have become in their absence. This isn't a haunting, it is a coronation. And if you can feel the truth of that promise stirring in your noble heart, I want you to make a sacred pact with your own radiant future right now. Press that like button, not as a simple click, but as a powerful declaration to the cosmos that you are ready to claim your throne. And in the comments below, let your energy join this sacred circle by typing, "I was ready to find out if death was truly near me." Finally, if this journey feels like coming home, subscribe to Cosmic Wisdom so you never miss these divine messages crafted to help you shine your brightest. So let me ask you this, my brave and beautiful lion. What part of you has felt like it was in exile, waiting for permission to return? This journey we are on today is not about fear. It is about a profound and holy release. The return of this shadow, this echo from your past, is not a test of your weakness, but a final examination of your strength. The universe isn't asking you to forget what happened. It is asking a far more important question. Do you still need their applause to know you are worthy of a standing ovation? Or have you finally become the source of your own light, the ruler of your own magnificent heart? Right now, you are being seen. Not through the lens of human judgment, but through the eyes of the divine, of your highest self, of the part of you that has waited lifetimes for this precise moment of remembrance, of reckoning, and of glorious rebirth. You see, the cosmos is creating a powerful stage for you, with the sun, your celestial ruler, pouring its golden energy into your chart. It is activating the very core of your identity, your creativity, and your royal purpose. You are being asked to stand in a space that only the truly courageous can enter, the space where a soul lets go of the need for external validation because it has finally truly found its own unwavering inner sun. You might see cards like the sun or strength appearing in your readings. These are not just symbols, they are divine invitations. They whisper not of endings, but of awakenings. They speak of a threshold, a golden doorway that is opening not behind you in the past, but deep within the chambers of your own heart. Leo, you are not weak because you remember the moments you felt small. You are human and you are holy. This season is not about holding your kingdom together with sheer force of will. It is about allowing anything that is not built on the bedrock of your authentic truth to crumble, to fall away, so that you can rise not louder, but more luminous, not harder, but with a deeper, more resonant strength. You are not watching this today because you are lost. You are watching because you have been found. Found by a more majestic version of yourself, found by a faith you cannot always articulate, but have always felt, and found by a message that knows the precise coordinates of your soul's location on its epic journey. So I ask you now, with your full and regal presence, do you still flinch when the past calls your name? Or can you now answer the call without feeling the need to bow if that question resonates deep in your chest? If your breath catches with the recognition of its truth, do something for me. Leave a comment below with just a single word that captures the feeling rising within you right now. Let that word be your sacred signal to the universe that you are present, you are aware, and you are ready for the magnificent act that is about to begin. And allow me, just for a moment, to express my deepest gratitude. Thank you. Thank you for your brilliant presence, for every like, every share, every heartfelt comment that amplifies our collective intention. Your support of Cosmic Wisdom allows these soul-igniting messages to find their way to other radiant hearts who are ready to remember their own light. You are not alone on this path, and the quiet courage of your heart is seen and honored. Believe me, beautiful Leo, you will want to stay with me until the very final word of this video, because what the universe is preparing to reveal to you next is nothing short of a divine masterpiece. Now tell me, what called you here today? Let's take a breath together. Let's begin. My dear Leo, you have always understood the art of standing in the spotlight, of commanding a space with the sheer force of your presence. And now, as this potent cosmic energy unfolds, you are once again being called to a sacred threshold, a place where the final act of an old story meets the opening scene of a new one. It is a place where one breath finally exhales the past, and the next inhales the brilliant potential of a new existence. There is something exquisitely holy about this timing, and it is no accident that the stars, the cards, and the energy of your own heart are all converging to whisper the same powerful truth. You are ready, with the sun, your majestic ruler, illuminating the path before you. You are not just navigating a season, you are stepping through a golden portal. This is a time of profound self-realization. The universe is asking you, who are you when no one is watching? Who are you when the only applause you need comes from your own soul? This celestial activation is not designed to break you down, Leo. It is designed to break you open, to awaken you to the immense, untapped power that lies dormant within your own heart. So often, a Leo's deepest wound is not about loss, but about being unseen. It's the pain of having your light dimmed, your generosity taken for granted, your grand gestures unappreciated. You may feel like parts of your past are falling away, but in truth, they are falling into place in a more honest, more aligned way. The discomfort you might be feeling, the uncertainty, even a quiet sense of emotional drama, this is not a sign of failure. It is sacred friction. It is your soul polishing itself, revealing its deeper facets, its unspoken desires. And you, magnificent Leo, are being asked not to run from the heat, but to remain still long enough to feel the profound message being forged within the fire. The tarot confirms what the heavens are revealing. The appearance of the Strength card alongside the Sun is not a coincidence. It is a divine narrative. Strength, as you know, is not about brute force. It is the quiet, courageous mastery of the heart. It is the gentle hand that tames the lion, the ego, the pride, the part of you that roars for attention. And the Sun card, that is you in your purest essence. It is authenticity, joy, and the radiant truth of your soul. Together, these cards are telling you that the part of you that was built on seeking validation is now ready to be replaced by the version of you that is the validation. The part of you that lives shines and creates not just to be seen, but for the sheer joy of being. There is a powerful metaphor for you here. Imagine a grand, majestic theater. For years, you have been performing on its stage, giving your all, pouring your heart into every role. But the audience was small, sometimes critical, and often they did not understand the depth of the story you were telling. Now, the old theater is being emptied. The lights are dimming on that stage for the last time. It feels empty, raw, and unfamiliar. And yet it must be this way. Because only when you walk off that old stage can you discover that the universe has been building you a brand new one, a stage bathed in golden light, with an audience of souls who are ready to celebrate the real you. That empty theater, dear Leo, is your past, and you are about to make your grand entrance into your future. You are standing at a gateway, a powerful portal between two versions of yourself. One is familiar, but it required you to shrink your light to fit the space. The other is unknown, but it is calling your name, whispering of a kingdom where you can finally be your full, glorious self. Trust that you are not here by some random twist of fate. You are here because your soul chose this moment to evolve, no matter how much your ego feared the change. And if any part of this message is speaking to a truth you haven't yet dared to voice, let it speak now. Leave a word in the comments below that captures the essence of your feeling in this moment. Do it not for me, but for you. Let your energy join this sacred space so the universe knows you are listening, you are ready, and you are walking forward into your light. There comes a moment in every soul's grand epic where the past doesn't just fade into memory. It circles back for an encore. It knocks on the door of your heart. It tests the foundations of your new reality. And when it does, it rarely arrives with a clear label. Instead, it shows up wearing the familiar, perhaps even charming, face of an old love, a past dynamic, or an emotion that catches your magnificent heart off guard. For you, Leo, this return is not a random event. It is a part of a deeper divine rhythm, one orchestrated by the very energy of rebirth itself. After all, you are ruled by the Sun, the center of our solar system, the source of all light and life. And the Sun never revisits a part of the sky without a profound purpose. If something or someone from your past is resurfacing now, they are not here to rekindle an old flame. They are here to see how brightly your own fire is now burning without them. What so often confuses the noble heart of a Leo is that these returns can feel intensely personal. They stir something real because at one time they were real. They were important. But listen to me now. Just because a story was once a bestseller doesn't mean it belongs on your current reading list. That is why this is not a second chance at reconciliation. This is a mirror. The person or situation returning to you is not the gift. The gift is the unshakable clarity you now possess. The test is whether you will make the same choice you made when you were still healing, still auditioning for a role in someone else's play, still needing permission to take center stage in your own life. But you have changed, haven't you, beautiful soul? Here is the truth that many are afraid to speak aloud. We don't tremble because we are still in love with them. We tremble because they remind us of the version of ourselves that did not yet know how to say, "My light is not negotiable." The version of us that thought love required dimming our own shine to make someone else comfortable. The version of us that equated grand romantic gestures with true, soul-deep loyalty. That emotional tremor you might feel that is not longing. That is a pride echo. It is the memory of your own soul whispering, "Never again, never again will I allow anyone to make me feel small in my own kingdom." And this time, you do not need to silence that echo or surrender to it. You are divinely permitted to listen to it without losing yourself to its story. This is why the past returns, not to continue the narrative, but to confirm that you have finished the book. The universe is not being cruel, it is being incredibly honest. It wants to see if you are ready to close the chapter without needing a final round of applause. Because true healing for a radiant soul like you is not always about grand confrontations or dramatic final scenes. Sometimes healing is a quiet, regal recognition. It is the profound peace that fills your heart when you realize you no longer crave the validation that once felt like oxygen. You have grown. You have sat in the quiet darkness and learned how to generate your own light. You have rewritten the definition of your own worth, moving it from something that is bestowed upon you to something that is inherent within you. That is why, when this person or this memory reappears, it may feel confusing for a moment, but it is not a cosmic sign to go back. It is a cosmic diploma, a message that you have graduated. You do not need to relive that lesson to prove you have learned it. You only need to choose differently this time. So take a deep breath. Close your eyes. Imagine their face softly, without any resistance. If your chest tightens, if you feel the old need to perform or to prove your worth, you are still holding on to a script that wants to be released. But if your body remains calm, if your heart feels steady, if you can feel a sense of gratitude for the lesson without feeling an attachment to the teacher, then you are standing firmly in your new sovereign energy. You are responding not with a reaction, but with a regal remembrance. You are not who you were when they took their bow and exited your stage. There is no shame in still feeling a flicker of something. There is only profound truth in recognizing that a feeling is not the same thing as a destiny. Let that be your royal decree. And if today you sense that old energy making its way back into your orbit, ask yourself this one question: is this a test or is this a temptation? And which version of me is responding, the performer or the sovereign? If any part of your heart whispered, "It is a test," I want you to write this in the comments. I know they are returning. Not to manifest them back into your life, but to affirm your own divine awareness. You are no longer asleep at the wheel of your own chariot. You see what is happening. You see the magnificent being you have become. And if you can greet this return with steady eyes and a heart full of your own light, you have already passed the final test. Not by proving anything to them, but by finally proving everything to yourself. Leo, your kind of transformation is never a surface-level affair. It doesn't just change your appearance, it reaches into the very marrow of your soul. When you love, you do so with a warmth and a loyalty that can feel as powerful as the sun itself. When you give your heart, you place the entire foundation of your kingdom into that sacred trust. That is why, when something breaks that trust, when your light is not honored, It is not simply a moment of pain. It is a seismic collapse of the inner structure you so carefully built around joy, connection, and devotion. Others may not see the depth of it. They may think you've moved on, that you seem strong, composed, as radiant as ever. After all, the show must go on. But you and I both know that when a Leo truly lets go of a dream, it is not a simple choice. It is a profound act of spiritual surrender. This is why rebirth for you is not a quick escape. It is not an impulsive flight from the pain. Oh no. Your rebirth is a sacred production. It is a conscious commitment, not a knee-jerk reaction. It is not about running from what broke your heart. It is about rising with a newfound clarity, with a renewed declaration of the star you now choose to be. This is not a denial of your past. It is a vow to your brilliant future. When we speak of healing for a Leo, we must honor the profound depth of what you survived. You did not just lose a person or a situation. You lost a part of the audience for your life. You lost a reflection in which you saw a version of yourself. And this is why you might still feel their echo in moments of silence. It is not weakness, it is memory. It is your soul checking to see if it is finally safe to release the role it once played so passionately. In the world of spiritual psychology, this phase is often called reintegration. You are not becoming someone entirely new. You are reclaiming the brilliant parts of yourself that were given away, toned down, or reshaped to fit a smaller stage. And as you shed the costume that no longer fits discomfort, is perfectly normal. There is no shame in still feeling an ache when the memory of a past performance brushes up against your present reality. Growth, especially for a heart as big as yours, often comes with a touch of grief. But grief is not a signal to retreat backstage. It is an invitation to take your rightful place in the spotlight of your own life. It's so important to remind you of something here. You are not weak because your heart still remembers old theme songs. You are not stuck because tears still come when you are alone with your memories. You are simply shedding. You are in the middle of what nature does so beautifully and so regally, the letting go of the old to make sacred space for what is real, what is true, and what is truly worthy of you. And perhaps in your quietest hours, you have wondered if that ache makes you unlovable, if it tarnishes your shine. It doesn't. In fact, it makes you sacred. Because you did not give up on love. You sat with the heartbreak, you stayed with the discomfort, and through it all, you are becoming the safe, warm, and loving space you once so desperately needed from others. It is written in many sacred texts that the divine is closest to the brokenhearted. That is not just poetry, it is an energetic truth. Science even shows us that emotional healing begins when we stop resisting our pain and start witnessing it with compassion. And you have done that, majestic soul. Perhaps not loudly, perhaps not for public consumption, but in the quiet royal chambers of your own heart, you have been healing with a quiet grace. That is power. That is rebirth. So if you have ever cried in silence over someone who never gave you the encore you deserved, if you have ever mourned a dream alone, with no one to validate the depth of your loss, then I invite you to say it out loud now. Not for them, but for you. Leave a comment that says, "I healed in the quiet." Let that be your badge of regal victory. Let it be a signal to the universe that you did the brave thing not once, but over and over again. Because true transformation doesn't come from pretending it never hurt. It comes from choosing to shine anyway. And this, my beautiful Leo, is what makes your journey so breathtakingly unique. You did not run from your wounds. You bathed them in the light of your own heart. And that is your vow. That is your rising. That is your rebirth. When it comes to a transformation that truly lasts, it is never enough to simply understand what must be released. You must engage with it, embody the change, and let it flow through every luminous layer of your energy field. Leo, this is where your power becomes practical. This is the moment when your healing ceases to be a quiet internal process and starts becoming the very frequency you live, breathe, and radiate into the world. And because your journey is so deeply energetic, everything around you, from the colors you adorn yourself with to the daily habits you choose, either supports or disrupts your sacred healing process. That is why this phase is not about waiting for a change to happen. It is about choosing to align with it consciously in every breath and every royal decision. Color, for example, is far more than just a visual experience. It is a vibration. Think of the color gold. It doesn't just symbolize success and royalty, it tunes your aura to the frequency of receptivity and divine worthiness. Adorning yourself with gold, even a small piece, is a powerful signal to the universe that you are ready to receive your divine inheritance. Deep royal purple carries the energy of wisdom and spiritual authority. Wearing it as you let go of old identities or emotional patterns helps you to seal that chapter with reverence, not resentment. And a brilliant, sunny orange or yellow awakens your sacral chakra, the seat of your creativity and joy. It is the color of new beginnings, of optimism, and of stepping back into the warm light of your own enthusiasm. In love, this season asks you to pause before reaching backward, not out of pride, but out of profound wisdom. Ask yourself with radical honesty, does this person from my past truly see and celebrate the version of me that has emerged from the fire? Or are they still relating to the version of me that once accepted less than what I now know I deserve? Let this be your steadfast guidepost. The question is not whether a connection still exists, but whether that connection honors the glorious growth you have fought so courageously for. Your physical health, too, is calling for a more conscious and loving form of attentiveness. The intensity of your transformation can stir up fiery emotional energy, and this often manifests in the heart and circulatory system. Instead of pushing through with sheer willpower, allow yourself to soften. For a short while, try to avoid overly stimulating or inflammatory foods. Instead, choose heart-opening herbal teas like rose hawthorn berry or a soothing chamomile to restore a sense of calm and balance. And when the world feels too loud and demanding, remember that joyous creative expression is also a form of medicine. Dance, sing, paint, create. Do whatever makes your inner child feel seen and celebrated. Financially, the universe is sending you golden opportunities, signals that might seem subtle right now, but are preparing to bloom into something magnificent. But there is also a gentle warning. If your current source of income drains your creative spirit, compromises your values, or traps you in a role that feels inauthentic, it is time to release it. This doesn't mean you must recklessly abandon your security. It means you must redefine what true security actually feels like in your body and soul. Sometimes the grand door to true abundance only opens when you have the courage to close the smaller one that no longer supports your spirit. Your career and purpose are asking you to go deeper this month. It is no longer enough to chase status or applause. Leo energy at its highest vibration is about soul work. Let yourself dream new dreams. Write down new goals, not just to get ahead, but to feel divinely aligned. Ask yourself, what kind of work would make me proud, not just of what I earn, but of the radiant being I am becoming? And when your mind grows heavy with thoughts, return to the simple, profound wisdom of your body. Place your hand over your heart. Feel its steady, powerful rhythm. And say these words slowly, either aloud or in the sanctuary of your own soul. I no longer need an audience to know my worth. I am the steady, shining sun I have been searching for. Let this be your 3-minute ritual every single day. It doesn't require a special altar or perfect posture. It just requires your presence and your truth. You are no longer chasing the light, beautiful Leo. You are learning to be the kind of steady, brilliant flame that naturally attracts everything that is real, true, and worthy of your magnificent heart. The healing you seek is already reaching for you, but it will only land in a space where it feels truly welcomed. So prepare your kingdom, clear the energy, choose with awareness, and watch the miracles that unfold. And so, my magnificent Leo, we arrive at the moment that was always destined to find you. Not as a final, grueling test of your strength, but as a luminous mirror reflecting the quiet, sovereign power you have been cultivating all along. The final door stands before you now. Not because you are weak, not because the universe wishes to confuse you, but because you are ready. You are truly, royally ready. This is not a decision about their apology, their regret, or even their acknowledgement of your growth. This is a decision about your own sacred inner alignment. Do you still need the echoes of a past audience to validate your performance, or has your inner light become its own irrefutable proof of your worth? When they return, and they so often do it, likely will not be with the same drama or chaos as before. No, this time, they may come in softly, respectfully, perhaps even with a sense of awe. They might say things like, "You've changed," or "You seem so powerful now," and you will feel it. The part of you that once ached for their approval might stir for a fleeting moment, a ghost of its former self. But something will be profoundly different. Instead of grasping for their words, you will feel grounded in your own being. Instead of clinging to the idea of a dramatic final scene, you will notice that a quiet sense of closure already lives within you. Their return is not the reward. Your peace is. This is where the most sacred and powerful shift happens. You will remember who you were when they left the stage of your life. The version of you that waited, that doubted, that perhaps even negotiated your own worth in exchange for their presence. But you are not that person anymore. You have grieved. You have grown. You have rewritten your entire story from a place of power, not pity. And so now, the question is not whether their return is sincere. The question is whether their presence even fits into the grand, beautiful world you have rebuilt without them. There is a reason your Leo energy is associated with royalty and the heart. It is because you understand on a soul level that walking away from something familiar does not mean you have lost the capacity to love. It means you are honoring the profound truth that not all love is meant to last a lifetime. Some love arrives to awaken you, and some love returns simply to see if you are still asleep. And so you stand at the edge of this threshold, not with bitterness, but with a radiant clarity. You are no longer the person who needs someone else to place a crown upon your head and tell you that you are worthy. You know you are. You have earned that knowing in the silence, in the shadows, in all the nights. You held your own hand and whispered to your own heart, "You are enough." This final moment is not about them at all. It is about whether you will choose yourself now that you have finally become someone who no longer needs to be chosen. This is not a grand goodbye. It is not a dramatic, tearful speech. It is a quiet, regal shift in your posture, a breath of serene certainty in your chest. It is the sacred pause where you smile not because they have returned, but because you realize you no longer have to. And if your heart trembles for a moment, that is okay. That tremble is the last fragment of the person you used to be. Let it pass through you. Let it leave. You are not rejecting love. You are choosing the version of love that begins and ends within the sacred chambers of your own heart, not the one that requires you to abandon your throne to visit someone else's lesser kingdom. So ask yourself the only question that truly matters now, the one that will define the next act of your magnificent life. Will you go back to a familiar role because it's comfortable, even if it asks you to shrink your light? Or will you walk forward into the brilliant unknown light of your own stage, simply because your soul says it's time? You are finally ready to be the star. If you hear your heart answer with a deep, resonant stillness, then you know you have already chosen. And if you need a mantra to carry with you as you walk forward, let it be this: I am ready to step into the new version of myself, steady, clear, and no longer led by the need for applause. That, my beautiful Leo, is your vow. That is your liberation. That is your glorious rebirth. If you have made it this far with me, I want you to take one final deep breath, not because every question is answered, but because something fundamental inside of you has shifted. You did not just listen to words today. You walked through a sacred ritual of remembrance. You allowed yourself to face a truth that many would rather avoid. And that is not weakness. That is sacred courage. The kind of courage that doesn't always roar, but the kind that quietly, steadfastly rewrites destiny, one brave, heart-centered choice at a time. You see, you were never the victim. You were never left behind in the wings. You were being prepared. Prepared not to be saved by a co-star, but to rise as the lead. Not to be chosen for a role, but to choose yourself as the writer, director, and star of your own magnificent production. There is something profoundly holy about a soul who no longer begs for validation from the outside world, but instead embodies a radiant sense of value from the inside out. And you, magnificent Leo, are that soul. This journey was never just about releasing a person or a memory. It was about stepping into the true, undiluted frequency of who you were always born to be. And now that you have tasted what it feels like to hold your own power without clinging to a past that did not fully see you, can you feel it? That quiet, unshakable knowing that you are not who you used to be, that you no longer need to chase peace or joy because you are becoming the very place where peace and joy naturally come to reside. You are not alone in this sacred process. There is a reason your spirit felt called to this message today. Perhaps it is because your ancestors are cheering you on from the divine realms. Perhaps it is because you are the one in your lineage who was chosen to break the cycles of seeking external approval or dimming your light for the comfort of others. Or maybe, just maybe, it is simply because you are ready to live a life that finally truly feels like it fits your magnificent soul. What if your healing is not just for you? What if your sovereign decision to walk away from what no longer resonates is igniting a path for someone else who is still afraid to step into their own light? I do not wish you a perfect season ahead. I wish you a real one. One filled with moments that crack you open, only to reveal the brilliant, unbreakable light within. A season where you don't just survive, but you feel you choose, you create, and you transform. A time that humbles you into remembering that you never, ever needed anyone's permission to evolve. You only needed to believe that you were worthy of more. If something in your spirit resonated with a deep yes during our time together today, I invite you to affirm it now. Leave a comment below and write, "I am ready to live in alignment with my true worth." not just as a string of words, but as a sacred declaration to the entire universe. And if you know another Leo, another lion or lioness who needs to be reminded of their own light, please do not keep this message to yourself. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it forward. You never know whose turning point your own bravery might help to ignite. And from my heart to yours, and from all of us here at Cosmic Wisdom, thank you. Thank you for showing up today. Thank you for being a part of this sacred space. Your presence here matters. Your healing matters, and your light, even when it feels like it is just a flicker, is being seen. Not by the shadows of your past, but by a divine, loving energy that knows exactly where you are going. You are not being haunted, beautiful soul. You are being led home, home to the throne of your own magnificent heart. Let's keep walking this brilliant path together.